What is up, guys? I am JP,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are your CineNerds.
We got a doozy for you today.
We got one we can talk about for sure.
Oh, I got lots to say.
So today we decided to keep up with the summer blockbusters, and we did the new Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Initial impressions, JP. Because I didn't want to jump into it. So we'll just go with initial impressions. What was your initial impression? By the way, this is just a uniform decision by both of us. Neither one of us picked it, per se. So
Yeah, I think I was one we said we could do it because we knew you were watching it, and I had just watched it. It's new. We've kind of been on a trend with doing some newer films, since I got home from tour. But I was not excited about this film coming into it, and I watched a couple of the trailers as they were released, and I was never a Fantastic Four fan, and I think some of the stuff they've done has been fun in the past. Like, I love the unreleased Roger Corman Fantastic Four film. I think that is the superior Fantastic Four film from, was it 1990 or 91, whenever that was supposed to originally come out. But I wasn't super psyched about this one, but as I watched the trailers, the look of this film intrigued me, with it looking straight out of like the 50s and 60s set designs. And so I went into it intrigued, is what I'll say.
I feel like, just to piggyback off that statement, I feel like the new trend in Hollywood is going to sadly be the success of the Fallout TV series. I feel like in Fallout, they captured some very cool novelty items in the video games, meaning the old school songs, the old school aesthetic, and I feel like that kind of crisp, polish, wholesome 1950s look seems to be the way that some of these other film companies are going. And the other one, they just confirmed another. I think I just shared it on the CineNerds page. They confirmed another one that they're going to do another video game series that's going to be done by the same people who did Fallout, right? What was that? Do you remember what I posted?
I can't remember what you posted on.
Yeah, it was another one of the franchises through video games. They wanted to make sure it was done right, and so they're putting it in the hands of the people who did Fallout.
I remember you posting it, but for the life of me, I can't even think of what it was.
Either. But to that point, though, initial impressions. So, like you, I really, really high hopes for this movie, because I loved the trailer. I thought it looked good. I thought it could be kind of making up for the past Fantastic Fours that came in. I had high hopes. I had more hopes for this than Superman. So going into it, I was 50-50 with this one. This one had some love-hate going on throughout the whole thing. That's my initial impression.
I think I'm just going to say it off the rip. I think there was so many missed opportunities in this fucking film. And the glaring one for me is with that whole 50s aesthetic and the sleek look of the 50s and 60s style sleekness that this film kind of felt like it had. The very beginning of the movie, you kind of get thrown in with news reports and newspaper clipping, or whatever. It's kind of like a montage of different.
It brings you up to speed for the first 4 years that aren't accounted for.
Yeah, and it's kind of a montage of what happened with the Fantastic Four, how they came to be, some of the villains they fought. So off the rip, the biggest missed opportunity for me in this film, with the whole 50s, 60s aesthetic that it had, this is not the movie I wanted to see. Like, after watching the opening montage, I wanted to see these guys fight Mole Man. I think this film would have been much better suited for them to fight characters like Mole Man versus Galactus. And I was here for the storyline with Mole Man, and we never fucking got much of it.
I would venture to say that there is going to be some unreleased stuff that gets released later with more Mole Man in it. But I hear you, and I agree with that because there was kind of two things here. Like this one's one of those ones where you have an incredible cast, and within that cast, though, you had I don't even know who directed this. Who directed this, JP? Do you know?
I've got it up.
So I think the direction fell short here. That's my opinion because I've never seen a more vanilla, and I know Reed Richards is supposed to be intellect, and that's what you're going for, but I've never seen a more vanilla version of Reed Richards in my life. There was he just almost all of the dialogue and lines from him were monotone. I know maybe that was intentional, but that was a bad approach in my opinion. I felt like all of the Fantastic Four they all fell short to me.
So it was Matt Shakman, however you say his name. It's Shakman. He looks like most of it, and I don't know anything about this guy, and I probably should, but it looks like he's done a lot of series versus film. Like he's directed Game of Thrones, he's directed WandaVision, he's directed some episodes of Monarch. So he's done things that I dig. He's done an episode of The Boys. American Gothic an episode. So it looks like he's done a lot more series versus films. But I don't know a thing about him. No.
The approach wasn't bad. The way he directed and navigated these characters was really, really poor in my opinion. They just didn't quite hit the mark of interest at any point. Not one of the characters pulled me in except for the bad guys. I actually was incredibly happy, I don't know about you, but with Silver Surfer and Galactus. They were great. They were awesome by themselves. Anything that was Fantastic Four oriented except for the birth of their child, which has a lot more question marks in my head. Spoiler, by the way, guys, if you're not hip to this yet, we're watching a newer movie, so spoilers are coming. So make sure you figure out what you want to hear and what you don't, but because we're gonna let some shit loose. But anyways, towards the end of this, Reed and Invisible Woman, they have their baby, and the baby is very alluring thing for Galactus.
Well, it's Franklin Richards, and
right.
If you don't know much, the thing is, I never read Fantastic Four books.
I didn't either.
But however, I do know a little bit about Franklin Richards because he was a big thing in the Onslaught comic book series. Like, this is who Onslaught absorbed in order to gain more power, was Franklin Richards. After he was created, if you don't know anything about the Onslaught series, it's one of my favorite X-Men series that came out in the 90s, where it was the issue where he was created was where Magneto ripped antimanium out of Wolverine. And Xavier used so much of his psychic ability to stop Magneto that he penetrated his helmet with his psychic ability. And when he did this, he created this new being that was kind of a Xavier, Franklin Richards, Magneto crossover, like super bad villain. And the series is my favorite. Probably
you almost said fantastic.
Yeah, almost said it is. It's fantastic. It's probably my favorite actual comic storyline of any comic book is that Onslaught series because it spanned across the entire Marvel comic universe. But Franklin Richards, I always understood what little I understood, and I'm sure you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but Franklin Richards I always understood that he was actually a mutant. And that was how Onslaught was able to absorb him, was because he was a mutant. And Onslaught was absorbing the mutants and gaining power.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was born that way, so that's classified as mutant. So yeah, Franklin, Silver Surfer, Galactus, great. That's all great in itself. But I could not get past the bad acting. And I think very well Pedro. So I and the rest of the team, every actor they had playing these roles is a solid actor in most fronts. So I blame the director here because it just did not deliver.
No. And I mean, we just seen what's his name that was in Joseph Quinn, who was in Stranger Things. where he's kind of claimed to fame. He was the guy that was playing Metallica.
Eddie.
Yeah, he played Eddie. He was playing Metallica in Stranger Things, and he kind of became a kind of a little heartthrob there for a minute. But I just
He's
rated,
also in your.
I know that's where I'm going. I
Place.
actually rated a movie he was in last year as one of my favorite films of last year, which was A Quiet Place Day One. So I had pretty high hopes for him. I had really high hopes for, and I'll never say his name right, because he has a really odd name. But the guy that played Micro in the Punisher series, but he plays Ben Grimm in Fantastic Four or The Thing. I had really high hopes for him, and I thought he actually was the better of them with playing Ben Grimm.
He's an amazing actor. He really is.
Yeah.
And he's in The Bear most recently too. Again, all good. Do you know what I did find interesting about this cast? All the way to Pedro's face shape. So I had never, because of the bad rep it got, I had never watched the 2015 Fantastic Four. So 2 days ago, I put that shit in.
I actually dig that film.
I don't
hate it.
I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. I liked everything up to probably Doom's design. Doom's design, and that was.
I didn't like Doom's design, but however, we got the horror scene with Doom going through the military facility, just making people explode, and that whole sequence was so good. Like, 'cause I do love Doctor Doom, and I liked, and we said this a little bit when we reviewed Sinners. I actually enjoyed Michael B. Jordan's Johnny Storm in that film. Too. He wasn't bad. There was things decent about that film, but overall, was the film great? No, but I still think it's better than what we got in the early 2000s.
Hey, can I finish my point now?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
I'm just messing with you. You can tell you liked it. No, but all I was saying was that the cast in the 2015 looks like the younger versions of this cast. So, like, especially Reed Richards, the actor who played Reed Richards in that one, he looks like he could be a younger version of Pedro. The nose shape, the everything. Like, but I did like that Reed better than this Reed. I have to be honest. So yeah, I went back for that. I had to check that out just to go into this and see what I was looking at. But
so, sorry, you said you liked the Galactus. I'll be honest with you. Once towards the end of the film, when you actually got Galactus in the city, I didn't like his design.
Oh, I liked it. I was cool with it. I mean, what else can you do with it? It's Galactus.
I get it, but I don't know. To me, and no offense, but he looked like a little person with a big hat on, but like stood taller than buildings. He just looked a little unproportioned to me. I just didn't like the design.
But every figure and every version of him, even in the comics.
I get it. That's kind of how he is. I get it, but I don't know. For me, I just thought maybe they would.
A few times over through the years, I've had Galactus figures, and that was always the odd one to pose on the shelf with the other figures because he was always so top heavy because of that goddamn head.
Yeah. Well, and I get that his head's supposed to be bigger, but it's just like his body wasn't proportioned, and it bothered me. It irked me, and I don't know. I wasn't blown away by the design. I wasn't blown away by the some of the CGI. Some of it just it looked cheap, kind of like Quantum Mania or whatever that film is called, the last Ant-Man film.
I mean, I can understand that, but unless it looks really, really bad, I'm not even digging on CGI at this point anymore because it's so overdone. So I can understand where you see that, but I did appreciate Galactus's ship.
Everything looked great in the ship.
Yeah. But when everything was lit up, you were seeing the faults. I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah, no, in the ship it was great, and he was dark, and it was menacing feeling, and I dug everything in the ship. But once we got to Earth, it was like, this doesn't look right. It just visually, it did not look right to me, and I don't know. I was having a really hard time with it. I felt like I was watching the last Ant-Man film again at that point, and I I didn't. I hated a lot of the CGI in that last Ant-Man, like to the point that I can't even rewatch it now.
So I have a friend of mine who watches movies, and they point out the fault in every other line, which is fine. If that's how you go in movies, that's how you go in movies. I've tried to get past that because I can find shit and everything to hate and not like. So I get where you're finding those things and they're bothering you, especially that Ant-Man disaster. And I had high hopes for that movie too.
Oh, I did too.
That bummed me out. But yeah, no, I just I can't dissect it like that. I want to try and get back to feeling like when I'm watching a movie again, I'm watching it for the first time and not thinking through the eyes of somebody who's reviewing or being a critic, because it's the only way I can let myself enjoy a film, I think, and then I'm not going to spiral down that rabbit hole because it's too easy to get caught up in.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought of where I was going with this.
You CGI, Ant-Man bothered you?
Set designs. Even though the CGI bothered me, and the set designs on this movie were fabulous. They were beautiful. They were absolutely amazing.
Okay. So this is one of my pet peeves, actually.
Okay.
I will talk about this. What do you have more? Go ahead.
No, that's really because I love the set designs. You know, I love that 50s, 60s aesthetic that they gave the tower and like some of the vehicles and things of that nature. And I don't know. I love that whole aesthetic that they did.
I do, all the way down to the Fantastic Four mobile, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
That one was rad. But I will say this. I am tired of films with a beautiful scenery and imagery or that look visually stunning but lack substance. Like it's great. Give me the beautiful scenery. I'm happy. Thank you so much. But can you give me some fucking acting and direction, because I'm not feeling it lately. It's starting to frustrate me a little bit.
Well, and this has been, I hate to say, this has been an issue with Disney for a minute. Unfortunately, I mean, you know, Kevin Feige. Did you see his press release? Kevin Feige's press release like a couple days ago
regarding
the state of Marvel and the changes that he's.
I heard about it loosely, but no, I don't remember.
I've got the article. Let me open it. And I know I have it right here because I literally just sent it to my son. Now, if you didn't see this article, Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, came out and said 30 major reveals on the future of the MCU from Marvel CEO Kevin Feige is the name of the article. And everything that it's like he's aware of the issues, but he's been forced into these issues. He's changing the plan. There's a 7-year plan. He's changing quality over quantity. And what he said in this was Disney forced him to put too much stuff out versus focusing on putting great films and shows out. He basically said he's going to be cutting Disney series. So where we're getting 2, 3, 4 Disney series a year, it will be cut to 1, maybe 2, and then films are going to be, you know, more. It's going to be more film focused again.
Kevin, if you give me more than 6 episodes in a series, I can deal with 2 a year.
His contract is up in 2 years. He also said Secret Wars will be a reset.
As it should be.
Yeah. And he also said that Captain America and Iron Man will be recast in the future. Now, he didn't say near future, but he said it's obvious if Secret Wars is going to set up a reset, he's already thinking, I've got to get my big players back. So that's already in his mind.
But didn't he allude in that same thing to be more X-Men focused too?
Yeah, X-Men is coming. That was in this article as well. He also came out and said John Berthal's Punisher is confirmed for Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Right. That's been news for a little bit now. So is, I think, Daredevil's in that as well. And they're going to make it more street level is what I was told.
He talked about a potential Fantastic Four Spider-Man crossover. There's a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Some Miss Marvel teases, which I will be honest with you. I've been very vocal about hating Captain Marvel and Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. However, I fucking adore Miss Marvel. That girl that plays her is so amazing as playing Miss Marvel. She's quirky, she's fun, she's young, and I think it's a brilliant idea to start to have Miss Marvel being brought into the fold a lot more, which is actually who went on to say that's going to set up Young Avengers with Miss Marvel.
That's the thing. I don't think they should. I don't think Young Avengers should even come into play.
Maybe not, but I really love Miss Marvel. I think that girl's fantastic.
I did too, and I like the series. I like how they opened up a new respect for her culture as well, because that was something that they really hadn't been done before like that from that context, and they brought the family into it. I was here for all of that. What I'm not here for is revisiting and rehashing the old characters if you're going to truly do a reset. I don't want multiple timelines. I don't want multiple different fucking story arcs. Keep it simple. Focus on your Avengers, your X-Men, Fantastic Four, fine, whatever, but just go forward with those. I don't need the sub characters. Like, let's keep, or I don't know if you want to go more street level, even like he was saying with some of those characters. That's great too, because if you start out simplistic and with street crime, you got a lot more room to work towards the top with.
Well, he also said Spider-Man is going to become a proper Spider-Man and is going to be more focused on street crime, level crime versus world-ending issues. So they're going to get Spider-Man back to basics.
And I'll be curious to see who they cast as him, but I do think out of all the Spider-Men we got, I loved Garfield, but Holland.
Well, Tom Holland's already signed. He's coming.
Oh, he's coming.
He's already signed for.
Talking about.
Yeah, Tom Holland. That was in this article too. Tom Holland is returning.
I don't know what they're thinking, honestly. Like, if you're going to reset it, fucking set it. Let's not do this. Like, all you're doing is leaving windows of expectations open by keeping the old characters.
And he talks about a reset, but in the same article, and actually the article glitched out, but I remember some of the stuff he was talking about was, he's had meetings with Ryan Reynolds, more Deadpool. He was wanting Hugh Jackman for more Deadpool Wolverine, but it's like, if you're going to do a reset, we need to get a new Wolverine. We need new X-Men. But he did talk about a bit about shit is going to shift towards the X-Men, in the very near future. So we'll see. Obviously, he knows there's problems. He knows there's issues. Obviously, with the failure of multiple films now, because Thunderbolts was kind of a failure for him, and
which it shouldn't have been.
I haven't watched Thunderbolts yet, but everything I have heard, and I wanted to see it, I just was on tour and couldn't get to the theater to watch that one.
We're gonna dip into something here. So just so everyone knows, at the end of Thunderbolts, and I've already told JP this, so it's not a crazy thing. There is 2 post-credit scenes, and the final post-credit scene is the Fantastic Four ship flying into Earth's atmosphere, our Earth versus their Earth, which means something had to have happened for them to jump dimensions and be flying into our atmosphere. I was hoping we would get
It's like, why would they show that before the Fantastic Four movie? That's
because I think they were leading it to that with some expectations. So I've got thoughts, but that doesn't make sense at all to the 2 post-credit scenes we get in Fantastic Four. Maybe it ties into one, but there's no explanation and nothing that leads us there. They never go there. They never cross that. So I don't know if maybe they're going back to Thunderbolts from Secret Wars or Doomsday. Like, maybe that's where they escaped to and from one of those movies, and they'll make it make sense. But it didn't fucking make sense. So it was stupid for now. I hope it ties up at some point. And if you're going to go to the theater for for Fantastic Four, there are 2 post-credit scenes. The first one, definitely stay for. The second one,
I was mad.
I was mad too. I was expecting something more. And so, all right, I'm going to talk about it then.
Okay.
It's spoiler, and it's after the ending of the movie, okay? The first post-credit scene.
Dr. Doom.
Franklin is in the room. He's been left by his mom, and she comes back in because she gets a weird feeling, and Dr. Doom is holding him, standing next to him, kneeling next to him, whatever. But they don't show his face.
Mm-mm.
And so, it clearly looks like our Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Doom, but they don't show his face. And I've seen other trailers or other versions of this that leaked where they showed his face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little perplexed and confused because nothing, maybe that's their intention. I don't know, but I was a little pissed off at that. But let's get back into the meat and potatoes of this fucking movie. The fucking second one is just a cartoon.
It's a cartoon intro to the Fantastic Four, like the cartoon was being played through the movie.
Yeah.
And I was mad that I waited till the very end of the credits
very end
to watch this.
Slowest credits.
Yeah. I was pretty angry about that. I think it's one of the reasons I was really mad at this movie when I walked out was because of that.
Like, you motherfuckers. Yeah, I was upset too. All right, so this movie, to put it in a nutshell, you get thrown into everything pretty fast. You get a 4-year awesome montage, if I have to be honest. It was definitely a good recap.
Again, like I said, I think the stuff in the montage is the film that I wanted to see.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think we would have had more heights to aspire to from there, where they could have done these things a little more justice. But yeah, no, it was rough. It was good, but it was rough, the fact that we didn't get that. But then we go into basically a little bit of team whatever, blah, 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 Silver Surfer. Then she appears, and this is where you get the I herald blah, 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 I herald this, I herald Galactus. And it was really well done. Then we're going to go to space and we're going to fix this.
We're going to go fight this Galactus guy and stop him.
Out of our depth, where we have some kind of nothing to work with. And that's essentially what happened. But when they get there, and I want to rewind too. What's her name? Vanessa Kirby. No, that's who played Sue Storm. Sorry. Julia Garner, who was in Ozark.
Yep, Ozark.
I have a weird love-hate for this woman, but she keeps winning me over in every role I see her in. And there was a specific scene at the end of Ozark in the last season where she's talking with Killer Mike in a restaurant randomly, and I fucking loved it. But anyways, her portrayal of Silver Surfer was spectacular, in my opinion. I thought she crushed it. I thought she knocked it out of the park. I like the relationship between her and Johnny Storm or Joseph Quinn. It's a weird way that it unfolds, and Johnny comes across not so much as a fucking idiot that he normally is, and he seems like he actually puts in some due diligence here. So that storyline got cool. I'll let you chime in there, and then we'll continue.
Well, I mean, and he connects with her he wants to connect with her, and
finally meet a girl who's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, he even figures out how to learn her language, to figure out what she's saying, and she's great. I thought she was one of the highlights of the film was her Silver Surfer. I think one of the other highlights of the film is when they go to space and actually get into Galactus's ship. And I thought a lot of it, the stuff that was going on in the ship was looked great. It was cool. It was fun. It was exciting. There was some really cool chase scenes, and stakes were high during that scene. It felt, and they kind of survive the battle, and from there they go back to Earth, and they have to tell everybody, oh, well, we didn't defeat this guy. He's still on his way.
So I'm gonna piggyback from there because this is very important. I want everyone listening to this right now to chime in, and if you aren't listening live, I want you to go to one of our comment threads and chime in about this. And this question is, parents specifically, if it meant sacrificing your child to save the 8 billion lives on this planet, would you sacrifice your child to save 8 billion people? That's the conundrum.
That's what Galactus tells them.
Yes, because Galactus wants Franklin, because Galactus senses within Sue that this child has infinite power, essentially galactic power is what he says. Is that your elbow?
No, it's the table.
Oh, it's a table. I kept thinking your elbow's cracking. I'm like, damn, you're getting old, man. But that's like, that is one question that I did appreciate, because much like them, I couldn't do it. My children, my everything. I couldn't do it.
I don't know. I think I love my kids, and I agree. It's impossible for me to actually really answer that, but I feel like at the end of the day, I don't know, because it becomes, well, do I actually trust this guy that he's actually going to leave the billions of people alone?
That's my mindset with this. So Galactus is that's the only way he would sacrifice, or he would spare our planet, is if this baby was sacrificed.
I think if I knew without a shadow of a doubt that X amount of billions of people could survive if I gave up a child, there's a possibility. But, however, I'd have to know, but there's no way for me to guarantee to know. So, I don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't. I know definitively with him. Yeah, I would have chosen the same stance as them, and that was one of the first times I identified with Reed and Sue, because I couldn't do it. And if the planet wanted to come fucking kill me and give my kid up, that's the only way they're going to. So that's just me personally. But to your point, like, it's also like, do you really trust this motherfucker?
Yeah.
And also, I have a question. So you said you didn't read the comics either. I'm not huge in the comics.
No, I never really read the comics.
So the ship, does it look like that in the comics? Sound off, let us know that too. Because to me, it looked like a straight rip off Unicron from Transformers.
I mean, I actually watched a video of Galactus and Unicron facing off, like a fan-made video a while back, and I was like, they are kind of the same, aren't they?
Planet Devourers. Yeah. But like the way they made the mouth and teeth of that took me right back to the 80s Transformers episode where you see it coming into Cybertron and just crunching down. So that was an interesting thing too. And I like how they pointed out that the planet, like when they got to where he is in space, and the way they tracked him was quite interesting, because they tracked the Silver Surfer essentially.
Yeah, they tracked her.
And but when they get to the spot where he's at, they come into contact with this planet that's just like Earth, but 13% larger. And out of nowhere, you just see the teeth come right through the middle of this planet, and it's just consuming the planet as they're there. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's kind of cool.
Like all this, I'm digging this. I'm digging this part of the film.
Well, and I had hope. I had hope at that point.
Yeah. No, like everything once they're in space, and you get there and he's devouring this planet, and then they get pulled into his ship, and then they have to face off with Galactus. I am loving all this, and think, man, if this is just the middle of the film, man, this film's going to be unhinged by the end. I don't know if we really got anything better than what happened in space.
From this point forward, I was like, ooh, it's gonna happen. I'm thinking of the end of Thunderbolts, where we get that post-credit scene where there's a reason that ship had to fly, and I'm thinking he devours their planet, and I'm thinking shit's about to get dark. No, it didn't do anything with it.
Nothing. Reed figures out he had been working before any of this happened, how to teleport. A teleportation device. And
2015.
So they go back to Earth after they lose this battle. He's like, oh, well, I've got a plan. Let's set up these teleportation devices all over the Earth, and we'll just teleport the Earth away from so he doesn't know where we're at. None of this makes sense scientifically.
I mean, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not an expert in that realm, but I agree. However, why the fuck didn't they think about Plan B initially, because sending him across the universe is much better than just making the Earth disappear.
Yeah.
Like I was like, well, why wasn't that the first plan? Because that was their plan B. So basically, Silver Surfer, they've set up all these points on the Earth to set up these they look like tripods almost. They're like three arms that create enough energy to make the planet connect, to transport and teleport, and they build these all over the planet. Insane resources. Even in the film, they're having people shut off all of their power, like they're having a power curfew, no power after like 8 p.m. at night, and it goes on and on to save energy to be able to make this happen. As they start to flip this thing on, Silver Surfer she starts going through all of them. Like you see her like almost like a ping pong
just
ball.
in a sequence, all of them just
pinball
on a map
machine
blowing up.
And so then they're like, okay, we got this one. Let's use Franklin as the bait, and we're gonna lure in Galactus. And everything that kept happening just kept kind of not working in their favor. And it was interesting though. But I think they should have gone with that plan initially.
I mean, it worked. I mean, so essentially they like you said, they put Franklin in the center of this teleporter and then try to sneak him away. But Galactus knows that they've already moved Franklin, so he's going for Franklin back at the tower. So Sue kind of snaps at this point, and
she gets that "Mama, I'm picking up a car, my baby's in trouble" vibe.
And Galactus has Franklin, and she's using her powers basically to push Galactus back into this teleportation device, and while everybody else is trying to get there and help him get pushed back and get Franklin out of his hands. But they're essentially teleporting him into like an unknown region of space, just out in the middle of nowhere in space.
And he won't have a ship or the Surfer, the ship, and so he'll be stranded is the goal.
So this seemed like a better idea than transporting
the whole planet. And they were going to transport it to another habitable zone, is what they called it.
Yeah.
Which they could be going to a habitable zone with a star that's ready to explode with multiple black holes behind a star. I didn't understand the logic here.
Yeah. It got, and it's not that this is all bad action. It's just it wasn't as good as the middle of the film in space, and it's it was very underwhelming.
So I'll go back to Silver Surfer and Galactus. They delivered for me. I was good with them. The other thing that delivered here was Johnny Storm for me, because he hears a repeated phrase that means what does it say? It's like die with the ones you love, or something like that.
Something like that.
Die with yours. Something like that. But anyways, she says something in a different language, and when she comes back to Earth and she's destroying this stuff, he flies up to her and essentially says, "What does this mean?" And she tells him, and so he starts using that as a template to understand her language, because they have these discs from these signals from space, and the discs all had something from her language. It was either her communicating to them and other beings, or I don't know. All I know is there was enough material on these discs that they had gathered from data from these signals in space that he starts translating her language based on those things. So you've already got a much more intelligent Johnny Storm than what usually he's like the ladies' man, the show off, all that stuff. Not too much thought put into stuff. This time he put the thought in because he wants to know about the Silver Surfer and where she comes from. Kind of pulls out her origin, that she became the Herald to save her planet. And he basically tries to get to her emotions by making her remember who she was and what she gave up for her people, and why it meant so much to him to protect his people. So when we're at that epic moment where Sue Storm's using everything within her being literally to push him into this black hole or this portal or whatever. Johnny Storm's ready to make that ultimate sacrifice.
He's going to sacrifice himself.
He's energizing. He's flying Mach speed to go give that punch, and she comes out of nowhere and knocks him down, and she saves him, throws herself at Galactus to put him through that portal, and that was pretty cool to me, because that showed she had that side. It brings us into the Silver Surfer that we know. Well, female version in this instance, but we know most of you know the comic versions of this, so. Yeah, I was here for it. I like that stuff.
No, and that was a great little conclusion. I mean, that way Johnny's still alive, and Silver Surfer kind of redeems herself. But during the midst of this, Galactus gets teleported into an unknown region. Sue dies. So you're sitting here like, oh, well, how's it the Fantastic Four? But obviously, they're not going to kill Sue Storm off. But Franklin.
Could have been cool.
Yeah, it could have been cool. It could have been cool.
That would have made the movie much cooler.
So Franklin shows his power and brings her back to life.
Yeah, well, you know what? That scene also bothered me in a roundabout way. Like, it was cool, but it was weird.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom just died. Let me lay my baby on top of Mom. Like it was. So the baby now, Franklin is touching Mom, has his hands like he's not laying on her chest, and she's dead on the ground. And as he's laying there with his hands, he's like gooing and guying, and she comes back. Excuse me. She comes back to life, and you see, if any of you have seen the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Franklin in the comics, any of those things, you can see the galactic eyes, or Peter in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Quill.
So when you see that cosmic energy pop in her eyes, now I was like, oh shit, okay, that's interesting. What I didn't like though was, I don't know if it's part of Franklin's because he's a mutant, if he's growing at an exponential rate, but like, this kid just got here and he
looks like a 1-year-old.
He sits up after he brings Mom back to life and he's clapping.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? So I don't know how that growth rate factors in, but yeah.
So from here, you're ending the movie for the most part. It shows the Fantastic Four going on the late night talk show. They're wanting to interview the Fantastic Four, and they have like I said, it has that whole 50s and 60s feel. So like earlier in the movie, and we didn't talk about it, but like they're celebrities. They go on talk shows, and it feels like the old school talk shows, like
Ed Sullivan and all that.
Ed Sullivan and stuff like that. But something else happens, and so they fly off and don't do the show. But one thing we forgot to mention, Mole Man comes back into this during that final battle too. Where they actually get Mole Man to bring everybody all the people in the city underground, so that Galactus isn't harming any innocent people.
But that kind of bothered me too.
It did. It did.
So I'm thinking, because of the way they showed the montage in the beginning with Mole Man, he had all these crazy drills. He's drilling underneath the city and he's moving buildings. And they were talking about all these buildings that would be in the way or the path of Galactus's destruction. And I'm like,
I thought we were going to see buildings just go
like Mole Man's going to move the buildings for him. And then nope, it just brings them all underneath to his utopia, his underworld, whatever. What was it called? It had a name. It was like Underrealm or something weird.
Yeah, I can't remember right
now. But needless to say, though, it was not what I had hoped either. So
yeah, no, it's not the Mole Man story that I wanted for this film.
Okay.
We already talked about the post-credit scenes. Have you looked at box office on this?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I've got it open.
Oh, you've got? Well, I see it now, but okay.
So this film just a week ago? It's been out for a week.
Yep.
And it's already made its budget, or almost.
Gross worldwide, yeah. Gross worldwide has gross U.S. and Canada. It's not there yet, but it will in another week. Is estimated at $200 million budget. Gross U.S. and Canada 128 mil. Gross worldwide 227 mil.
Yeah. So I mean, it's made its budget back so far, and that's just in 1 week. So this movie is going to do well. They're going to get some more out of this over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and like, I feel like Marvel's trying to like from what we just said about Kevin too. I think they're trying to make it right, where they know they rushed and did a lot of damage, and they're trying to reel it back. I don't think this is a great start to that, but I also don't know what can unfold from here. So I'm curious to see where it goes from here, and hopefully it's in a good direction.
So, talking about a little bit about Kevin Feige's stuff. There was a slip up in an interview recently. Have you seen this? Matt Hauser actually sent this to me last night. and I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Nightcrawler in the original X-Men.
Yeah.
So, and I knew this had been announced for a while that he was returning
Right.
for Secret Wars. So they were doing an interview with him here recently, and he was talking about being back and how it's been 20-some years since he's played Nightcrawler, and he's in his 60s. He's like 60 years old now, and how odd it was to try to learn these moves and learn how to do these fight sequences again, and his slip up. And it was like he didn't even realize he did it. He's like, I had to learn how to fight a certain way because I was having to fight Pedro. And so he essentially...
So there will be some kind of... Yeah,
He
okay.
essentially slipped up with that it sounded like he's evidently fighting the Fantastic Four, obviously.
Well, I think you're going to get a lot of crossover when you
Yeah.
have the Secret Wars thing happen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. So Doomsday is supposed to come first, and I feel like Doomsday is going to be really dark. Secret Wars even darker because I think you'll see a lot of deaths and the reset inevitably.
So yeah, that was an interesting video. And it was Secret Wars or Doomsday. I can't remember which one it was, but
Doomsday's next.
Yeah,
so.
it may be Doomsday. I may be wrong on which Avengers film it is, but he's already training for it, so he let that slip in an interview. You looking it up?
I'm looking up the current Marvel timeline because they have a whole new batch of stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, he made changes. He also announced that Blade is still coming, and it will be set in modern times.
Yeah, because we were looking at that, and it was like they were starting. I think that period piece, as we were discussing, and Rick pointed out too, from Hold That Enchilada. But I think we were talking about how CineNerds acquired the Blade setup because there's supposed to be a 1920 sequence or 1930 sequence for Blade where they used all the costumes, and that's what went over to CineNerds. I think that's just because Blade was born in that era, so I think they were just going to have moments that were in that era. I don't think it was all based around that as a movie. I can't find the new one. And
it's probably updated and hasn't really been updated online yet because he's still talking changes. So
what phase are we in? What phase is this? Is like 5 or 6?
I have no idea. Have no clue at this point. It's just I just look to see what Marvel films are coming out next and just follow suit.
All right, I think I got it now. Okay, so we already got Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. We got Fantastic Four. The next one is Doctor Strange 3, supposedly.
I don't see that one coming.
February 13th, 2026 is what's on here.
We'll see on that. I don't know about that.
If this is wrong, let me know. But Avengers Doomsday says May 1st, 2026, which I think that's right. Spider-Man 4. June 26, 26. Scarlet Witch getting a movie November 6, 26. And then let's see.
I think some of this stuff has changed even from what you're looking at. I could be wrong, but some of this doesn't sound like what's coming other than Doomsday and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as we'll put some things in our comments as we go through that.
Yeah, we'll see what the new lineup is, but I know it's changed. Hell, it's changed since they shifted gears to Doctor Doom because before we had a whole lineup that revolved around Kang, and
well, that's something else that I've heard recently. That's been the talks, right? Is that they brought him back?
Yeah.
So now they're like ready to move forward with him still in those timelines and those stories. So.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Ratings.
I think we're going to have to rock, paper, scissors once we both chose it.
That's fine.
So, rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
you won on the first one.
There you go.
All right.
You go first.
I'll go first. All right. So, I really was looking forward to this and Superman. I had higher expectations of Fantastic Four than I did Superman. And oddly enough, Superman was way better for me on multiple fronts. Fantastic Four definitely fell short. And as I said in the beginning of this review, it's a 50-50 for me with this one, and that's because the antagonists were far superior to the protagonists in this, and they just delivered a better story. I wasn't, nothing about the main characters of the Fantastic Four pulled me in and made me identify with them, feel like I was watching a good movie. It just felt like meh. So all as a whole, I'm gonna have to sit fairly low with this one for what this movie is, and I'm going 3.4 nerds from me.
So we have a lot of the same opinions, I think, on this. Now, again, I said it at the beginning of the episode. I feel like the movie that I wanted to see was the Mole Man movie against the Fantastic Four. I think it would have looked like a better film with the aesthetic of the film. And I think it would have been much cooler to do something off the wall like that, make it really fucking fun, and do Galactus later. You know, you don't have to blow your whole wad on the first film with Galactus.
That's where they fall short with this. Like, everyone's trying to fucking hurry.
Yeah.
So instead, he wins the race. Let's get some story and some substance.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean, Fantastic Four, they could have built that, but they're playing what DC did years ago with trying to rush shit again, trying to fix what they fucked up. But you could have held off to Galactus. You could have held off with Galactus until you got X-Men in. And I mean, it falls short on so many levels for me. Again, like he was saying, I wasn't excited. He was way more excited about Fantastic Four than I was. I wasn't looking forward to it at all. But sometimes that makes for me going into a film and come out going, wow, that was so much better than I thought it was going to be. But this time it wasn't one of those films for me. I agree. I was super psyched for Superman. I think Superman is the better comic book film that's come out between the two, which we reviewed Superman last week. I enjoyed that film immensely. And this one, not so much. I thought even while watching it, this isn't the film that I want to watch story-wise. Not because it's Fantastic Four. I just think there's a better movie that could have been in there. That being said, I will tell you right now, I watched 2 brand new movies the day Fantastic Four came out. I watched Fantastic Four, and I watched Happy Gilmore 2. And I enjoyed Happy Gilmore 2 100 times more than I enjoyed Fantastic Four.
I agree. I literally, so I watched, it's family friendly for me. And when I get to hang out with, like, I actually had my wife and all my boys in one room and we were watching Happy Gilmore 2, and I laughed start to finish. Mm-hmm. The throwbacks were good. They made Rob Snyder the little person. Oh my God. I was dead.
But I mean, that should tell you the my thoughts on Fantastic Four. I'm going to review bomb this one just because I wasn't happy. I feel like I wasted 2 hours watching this film. I'm going in at a 2.9.
Wow. All right. That's fair. We're not too far off.
Yeah. I just this movie is so mid for me. Like, it's just well, I'll watch it again. I'll probably watch it again when it hits digital, when I can watch it for free streaming. But it's not one that I anticipate putting into my collection.
I'll probably put it in my collection. I did see value in the antagonists in this. I did see a future scenario where this could come together better. But to your point, yeah, just not there. It wasn't it. I thoroughly enjoyed. I like Thunderbolts. When I saw Thunderbolts, I was like, hey, Marvel finally getting their fucking right without Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. Like, because those two, let's be honest, those two together is just gold, and it was a great movie. But Thunderbolts did it as a Marvel movie should, to me. And I know you haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to. And it is on my list to watch. And I like the characters in the Thunderbolts, so I was psyched to see it. So I will get to it. It will be. It's on my watch list. So I think I'm waiting on it to hit Disney Plus.
And just to go back to it just a little bit before we part ways here, the reason I like Thunderbolts is because there's a human element. It's not all mutants with powers. Is humanity, like, at its best and at its worst and its lowest, and what people have expectation wise. There was nothing about the Fantastic Four except for the parent aspect with the baby that pulled me in and made me identify with these people at all. It was so far from the audience. It wasn't good.
You have any recommendations?
Yeah, let's what have been let's go with Mobland with Mr. Hardy in it. I just watched that. Not an absolute amazing series, but not a bad one to watch either if you need something to watch. It's focused around an Irish mafia family. Tom Hardy's the cleaner. Essentially, when issues go wrong, he comes in and fixes them. Keeps the family on the straight and narrow, and it develops well.
I'm going to go with, I already mentioned it. I'm going to go with Happy Gilmore 2. I mean, I watched it the same day as Fantastic Four. God, I just had so much fun watching Happy Gilmore 2. Now, is it better than the original? No, it's not.
No, but
I had just as much fun watching it as I do the original. I thought it was fucking fun.
If I look at it this way, especially with comedies, I thought Zoolander 2 and Anchorman 2 were trash, and they couldn't even live up to the original. This one at least holds its own to the original. It's not the original, but it holds its own.
I think it's a fun sequel.
Yep, I agree.
Mean, and I can tell you, you compared those. I think I actually compared it to, because two of my favorite comedies out of the '90s was, one of them was Happy Gilmore. I'm not saying they are my favorites. Two of my favorites, Happy Gilmore and Joe Dirt. And I love Joe Dirt, but god damn, that Joe Dirt 2 sequel, trash. Fucking trash.
I never watched it 'cause I didn't want to.
Yeah, it's trash. It was horrible. First time I watched it, I couldn't even get through it. But Happy Gilmore 2, I had fun.
Dude.
I had so much fun watching that film.
I know we keep going, but Happy Gilmore 2, holy fucking first 3 minutes. Oh, yeah. That shit was dark as fuck.
Yeah, it got dark.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting that, but the rest of it was just nothing but laughs. So,
CineNerdsPodcast.com. Be sure to go there and check the website out. All of our new episodes are there. Now that we're getting some stuff filmed, we want to get the new schedule up for the next handful of weeks, hopefully, and let you know, you keep up to date with things there. Also, we got I know I've made some posts, and Ryan's made some posts, and some of you guys have shared this, but our new shop is up. I have a local person in North Carolina that is going to be making shirts and coffee mugs and anything like that. Check out the store on the CineNerdsPodcast.com, and you can order from her. She makes stuff as they're ordered to send in, and obviously she's got to make some money. She's got to take her cost, but we're going to make some money on this, and that will help us still replace this last camera we need to replace, and and do a few other upgrades for the studio here. We want to. I think we're talking about maybe trying to green screens for the video, and there's just some more stuff that we need to just get tidied up, with this transition, and so that way you can get you an actual shirt, coffee mug, koozie. There's multiple things that she's making for us. So it's a way to help us out, and you actually get something in return.
And previously, just to kind of push off this, previously when we had our shop up, it was part of a company, an online option. This is a wonderful person who JP met or knows from growing up. I don't know what your connection is, but her name's Angie. She's amazing, and her company is Seemingly Perfect Designs. And the products she sent to us are phenomenal. They're great. And we're happy that it's going to get represented well by her and her work ethic, and she's done nothing but be kind to us in this. So this is not just supporting the podcast, this is supporting local small business. So we appreciate it immensely.
And she should be getting a package for you here soon. I know she was getting it all printed up over the weekend.
Yeah, her and I talked. Yeah, she's quality. She's awesome.
Sweet. All righty. Until next week.
Later, guys. Thank you.
Later.